Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name's James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer. And this week we're been reviewing possession movies. And the movie that I've decided to review, it's not strictly in the sense a possession film, but it's kind of close enough. It's almost like there's ghosts. It's almost like a possession of a building, you could say, kind of. It's The Last Shift. This is a film by Anthony de Blasi. I don't know too many of the films that he's done. There are a couple more horror films that he has done, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. But I first saw this film, I think it was a few years ago on Netflix, and the cover then on Netflix was pretty similar to this face, and I always thought, to be honest, it looked a little bit trashy. Not that the makeup looks bad at all, but I don't know. As a cover, I was kind of, whenever you see something like that, it's giving far too much away, maybe. And I was just really put off by it. But one day, just decided to stick it on, and wow, was I don't know if it's because I was expecting so little, but thoroughly enjoyed this film. It's actually very scary and creepy, which you can't really say too much anymore with a lot of horror films. But this one, like, genuinely, it's like quite creepy. A lot of bits and pieces. Yeah, there are jump scares, but there's a lot of other different ways to scare, and they do it with suspense, with sounds, with shadows, with different bits and pieces, and it works well with this film. But basically, we follow Jessica Lauren. That's sorry, Juliana Harkavy. Sorry, I'm butchering that. Juliana Harkavy, and her character of Jessica Lauren. Basically, she's the main lead, and she's pretty much the sole main actor in this film. There are a few supporting actors, but she's the main one. So it's a pretty heavy role to be taken on, but she's very good. But like I said, so she's a police officer, and for her first night of duty, she has to be on the last shift on this police police station that's actually closing. It's his last night they'll ever be open, and they're relocating to a different place in the same town. Um, yeah, so she's on her own in this police precinct, and stuff starts going down. She has a few an altercation with someone decides to come in and start peeing on the floor. She's speaking. She sees a few people. There's a night worker that she's having a chat with, and they start to tell her a little bit of information about different things that have happened in the town. And yeah, stuff just starts to get more eerie, more creepy. She's seeing little bits and pieces. She's hearing bits and pieces, and then it starts to really go full crazy, and we actually find out that it's I'm trying to look at the name now. I can't see it, but there's a killer. Um, he's dead now. Yeah, I think he was dead, or he was, he was dead. So I think he hung himself in a cell or something like that, and basically a lot of death surrounded this one guy, and it actually turned out that her father was a police officer as well, and he dealt with the situation. He was one of the officers that were on duty the night that this crazy killer, this crazy guy on the back, his house was raided. And I don't really want to go too much into it. It's kind of a bit of a cult. It's kind of a supernatural cult sort of thing that starts going on. And so it builds up, and it has a really solid ending. Yeah, it's not too often like I find myself saying that. It's like I tend to love the first acts in films, and then it rolls nice into a second act. And if there's an act that's going to let me down, most of the time it tends to be the third act. But this was really solid. It's like yeah, to be honest, I didn't see it coming. And how it all plays out at the end, it's like I said, it's really solid. Um, yeah, there are a few jump scares in this. I'm not really a fan of jump scares, but when they're used in this, they're kind of used sparingly, and there's a lot of other different ways. And it's kind of clever how they do that. They build suspense, so you think something's going to be a jump scare, and then there's nothing there. And it's kind of, you start to feel a little bit maybe what she's going through. Like I said, she's the only one in this police precinct for the whole night, and it's really well done. Like she's interacting with like these different characters that keep popping up. She's on the phone talking to people. She's talking to people who are calling 911. Well, they're calling the station for help. She's speaking to all the police officers, and it's all of the small bits and pieces of interaction. There's another police officer that you see come into the police station that she's interacting with. Like I said, I'm not going to give too much away about this. It's a really solid film, all contained horror. Like I said, it's all in this one police station. She does a solid job in acting. It's a difficult call, this one, because she's pretty much watching her. I wouldn't say emotional downfall, but you can see she's a solid, like, new police officer, really happy to be doing this. And you see it just grate on her and grind her down over the night. God, I would have been gone within like 5 minutes. Some of the stuff that's going on in this, but it's creepy. It's atmospheric. It's dark, but it's not so dark that you can't see anything. The lighting is done really well. Any makeup that's done is done really well. Like, the sets are done solidly, and overall, this is a really great film. And yeah, I don't really hear many people talk about this one too much, and you should do. It's a really solid. I always have an issue with saying scary, and I don't know why. It's a scary film. It's a horror film, and I think you should give it its due. It's a creepy, scary horror film. Yeah, and it's highly worth it. Like I said, it's really worth a watch. Some bits and pieces when she's in the cell. Like I said, that there's things going on with lighting and sounds. It's a creepy film. There's not many films, if I'm honest, that kind of get the hairs cropping up on the back of your neck and on your arms, but this is one that was doing that. And yeah, I really do recommend this. Like I said, I saw the picture and I was like, that doesn't look very good, the cover art, and actually just saw it on Netflix for once and totally blown away, and then had to pick up the DVD. Yeah, so this is my fairly poor review on The Last Shift. I do apologise. Very tired again this week. My first week back at work after almost a month vacation, and I saw this at the start of the week, so didn't make any notes on this one, so I'm a little bit rusty, I'm afraid. But I will definitely recommend this as a watch, and I give it. Yeah, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think I was a bit nervy about going so high with the score, but I would definitely go with that. I'd recommend this. If you've not seen it, watch The Last Shift. Thanks very much. So this was my review for this week, and I'll see you again next week, next Sunday. Thank you. Good night.